The new Mizuno M-craft putters. They look great, feel great, sound great, and they're reasonably priced. But you've not bought one. Let's find out why.
Let's do it now.
Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again, yeah. State your name.
Hi everyone, James Robinson here. Guys, first things first, I'd like to warmly welcome you all back to the channel. I hope you're all safe, I hope you're all incredibly well, I hope you're really enjoying getting back out on the golf course. This may have just caught your eye that I've just brought into screen here. How good does this look? This is the Mizuno M-craft 2 putter, and this for me is the best of the bunch. Now we're going to test today with Christopher. How are you?
Very good, yourself?
Very good, and we are at Royal Waterfront Golf Club on a beautiful day. You've brought the weather with us, haven't you, Chris?
Oh, have I? Even got the shorts on.
Even got the shorts on. You've got one of the putters in your hand. That's the M-craft 1, I believe.
It is,
It says it on the toe, actually. You'll not see it on the bottom. So on the toe there, we've got the numbers. So that's the 1. This is the 2. You've got it in the chrome finish.
Yep.
This is the kind of gunmetal finish, which I think is the nicest finish and the nicest shaped head. And then we also have this, which will, I mean, to be honest, we will not really, I mean, we'll just not talk too much about that, Chris, will we? Because
bit of blue for the dads.
Bit of blue. People know I'm not a fan, although when I did a video on the blue wedges, Chris, and I kind of called them saying it was a huge mistake and that it's not very nice, a lot of people have got love for the blue. So we're going to have to respect it. So we will test that one as well. But I want to talk about why people aren't necessarily buying these putters, because I've never taught anyone with a Mizuno putter.
No.
Have you? Yeah. And obviously for a putting coach, that's quite a big deal, isn't it? You must get Odysseys in a lot, Scotty Camerons in a lot, ping putters in a lot.
A lot of pings, yeah.
So why is it you think that, I mean, £229 these, so they're not cheap, but they're not by any means the most expensive putters you can get.
No.
They look phenomenal in my opinion. Which one's your favourite shaped head?
This one actually, the one. I prefer this neck's quite nice.
Yeah, so you're a big...
The finish I like as well. It's
okay.
Not too shiny.
Yeah.
But it just looks a little bit different.
So why do you think that people aren't buying these putters, Chris?
So I think it's one of those, it's down to shops having them in. It's again maybe down to a little bit of marketing. I don't see... I don't...
it was fine, it's your bag anyway.
Right, the bag's gone. So I think, you know, we don't see much of it. I've not really seen much advertisement for them. So if people aren't seeing them, again, not a lot of people have them.
Yeah.
A lot of people have Scotty Cameron, so their friends try it and then they go, oh, I want a Scotty Cameron.
And they see the players use them on tour as well, which is a huge factor for people buying golf clubs in general, isn't it? For me, and I think you're probably going to be the same, when I think Mizuno, I think one thing.
MP32s.
Irons, generally think of irons. So you got that in one really. And now they're trying to break heavily into the driver market, which to be honest, with the ST200, they've done phenomenally well. That's a great driver this year, great price point. We're not here to sell Mizuno products at all, but I mean, they are starting to morph a good bag actually. They've just released some new golf balls as well, which I've got to test. But 229, a Scotty Cameron's 339, is it? Or 350 or something like that.
Yeah.
To me, this looks, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of this now, as good, I'm going to say if not better, as a shape as a Scotty Cameron.
I think the shapes are nice. I think, again, when it comes down to it, it's very much price. You know, ping putters, I see a lot of people, a lot more beginners. I know a lot of tour players who use them, but a lot of beginners go to them because of the price bracket. So they are about £100 cheaper than Scotty Camerons.
Yep.
Same as Taylormade, they're a little bit cheaper than those. So I think sometimes people stay away from things for the price.
Potentially, yeah. I think it's about time we hit some putts.
See,
senor. So Chris, you'll see that the putters come with this wonderful little corded grip as well, which I very much enjoy.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different, is that you're going to say different?
Different, yeah.
We get the stepless shaft as well, which is always nice in a putter, I think. Yeah. That's something which it just stops the sun kind of gleaming off any steps on there. Then obviously we've said about the 3 different head styles you can do.
Feels pretty good, feels nice off the face, nice and soft, just like a Scotty Cameron, because I have got a Scotty Cameron in the bag at the moment, a brand new one.
Soz.
James has forgot to arrive. The weight's nice, again, with these putters, and I've had to go with them all, I feel with the weights at the bottom, obviously they come with a...
They do, I'll get that actually. So each putter does come with, have we made one? Oof, oh! tell you what, each putter does come with a little weight kit, which I'll show you again now on screen, and they come with 3 grams, 8 grams and 13 grams. Now the putter I've got in my hands at the moment, the 2 and the 3. Now the putters I've got in my hands at the moment, the 2 and the 3, I've got a 13 gram weight in the 2 and an 8 gram weight in the 3. Chris, why would you change these? I want to hit some putts while you talk people through these as well.
People will change weights in the putter depending on what greens you're playing on. So if you're playing on faster greens, you might go to heavier weights because then we're going to have to make a smaller motion. If we're on slower greens, if we're playing in the winter, we might go to lighter weights because that might be what feels comfortable for you. So if you're being fitted for the putter, you'll have a play around. Some of you will like to feel a lot of weight in the head. Some of you won't want to, they'll want you to feel it just as a one piece, so it doesn't feel like there's too much weight in the head or at the top of the shaft. It's very much like a driver. I see a lot of people, especially with drivers and now with putters, it's a bit of an excuse. They can move the weights, change the weights, which is good to possibly change the weights at some point, but often it might come down to your mechanics, your stroke, how you're putting, not down to what weights you've got in the putter. And I think for most beginners, it's going to give you too many options. Have I got the right weight? Have I not got the right weight?
So what you're saying is, Chris, you should come and see an expert like yourself, potentially get fitted for the putter, fitted for the weight, expert short game, get fitted for the putter, and then
pretty much, yeah. So
that didn't land on the green, by the way, as well, so if anyone's got any problems.
Get the weight, get a weight that suits you, go and get fitted, have a look what's comfortable, and then stick to that. And if you've got your mechanics right, then the putter should be good. You shouldn't need to change weights and mess around. It gives you too many options and more things that can go wrong.
Okay, fair enough. So what we're going to do, Chris, we're going to test all 3 of these heads now. I know we've all got our personal favourites regards to look and feel, things like that, but we're going to test them with the good old ladder drill.
Oh yeah.
So we'll disinfect all the clubs. You can go first because you know the putting green better than anyone, and we're going to see which one suits us best. Right, these are nearly ready for you, Chris, now.
Sure.
So I'm going to leave those grips just here for you.
Thank you, Shane.
So you say this is the one you prefer.
Yeah, this one.
Any reason why?
It just sits nice. I don't normally use this hosel.
Because if we were to refer to a kind of Scotty Cameron, that would be a 2.5 hosel, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and again, I've not really ever used one of those. I've always had the bigger hosel, which is the double bend, which is like in the number 3.
Okay.
But it just sits nice. And again, it looks like it's got a matte finish, so it's not shining off the putter.
Oh. And one thing that I was going to say, Chris, when we spoke about the weights of the putters, obviously the movable weights you can change. It's going to depend on the length of the putter as well, because you're going to want an overall weight of the putter, not just weight in the head or weight in the shaft.
Yeah, that's it. So it depends on how long you have the putter. If it's a longer putter, you might have lighter weight. If it's shorter, you might have it a little bit heavier, vice versa. It all depends.
Well, if this one goes in, Chris, you're going to have to game the blue one. There you go. New putter in the bag.
Blue colour really helps you hold putts, just because it's blue.
So, Chris, you've just hit all 3 putters there.
Yep.
Quite an in-depth kind of. You've hit a lot of putts there. To be fair, we've sped it up a little bit. Have you has anything changed?
The weights are slightly different. I felt in the number 2.
Which they are, because I'll let you clean these before I touch them. But yeah, in the 2 we have got the 13 gram weights in there, as you can see. And you didn't like that, did you?
No, so it felt like, look at that.
Artistic vision.
So it felt more like the shaft and the head was one. It felt like sometimes when I moved it away, it felt like I could bring the club, I could bring the handle away first and then the head would follow, so it just felt a bit
And interestingly, with the number 3, you've held them all. Obviously, it was the last putt. You've learned the pace, you've learned the line. All those kind of factors come into it. But that is a kind of head shape you like, isn't it? Not so much the neck, but the head shape. And all these putters are available in the different head shapes in the different colours, so you can have basically what you want.
Yeah. So again, this is similar to the Rossi that I use, and again the new Scotty Cameron flow back that I've just got is the same kind of shape. I have the same hosel, the same neck, so I have the double bend. So it's something that I feel a little bit more comfortable over. So again, it's when you go for those fittings, something that might just suit you. Look of it. The blue colour, I'm not against blue. I'm not saying I'm a fan. It looks fine. It looks nice. But again, it's the shape that then helped me visualise the putting.
Personal preference, really. Goes with the head covers. The head covers are quite nice actually, which you do get right. Time for me to have a go. Do you want to clean those up? Guys, so I'm going to start where Chris left off with the blue putter. It is the M-craft 3. Again, it wouldn't be my personal preference in colour. I have learnt not to call these things anymore because people generally have their own preferences with colour and shape and things. Again, it's probably not a shape I would use. I much prefer the kind of Newport shape, which is the M-craft 2. But then, to be fair, I do think it's fantastic that Mizuno are offering 3 totally different head shapes in the putter range, because what you can find sometimes is they might offer you one putter, because putter hasn't always been their preference. Obviously it's been irons, then it's been woods and drivers. Oh, that one came off left. One thing I would say about this M-craft 3, unless you have the handle slightly forward, it does almost seem to have a little bit of offset on there, and if you don't release the putter properly you might get it a little bit left. But again, that's personal preference. That's down to my technique, down to maybe how I take it visually. Did you find that?
No. I don't know if that's just my setup anyway.
Yeah. But it's probably better for me, because if I have the handle forward, that's generally when I hit my best putts.
Yeah, so your tendency is to get it back, so it's a little bit of a preset.
Soft off the face, that, very soft. Right, time to go. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1 actually, because that seems to make more sense. We only made the first one there, so not ideal. And this would definitely be my personal preference in shape and in colour. If someone said to me, James, you're going to use a Mizuno putter this year, not that that would happen, this would be the one, probably with this weighting in it as well, because I do prefer a heavier feeling head. Absolutely love this finish, and it does look just like a Ping Answer or a Scotty Cameron Newport looking down at it. What more do you want for the price bracket? And again, talking price bracket, you can get cheaper putters than this, but you can also get more expensive ones, much more expensive ones. This almost has, oh, that was a fiery one, almost has a bit of a Toulon look finish about it, which again, you do pay a lot of money for if it's a Toulon. That's a terrible putt, that one. Last one in the test is the M-craft 1, and this for me almost looks a tiny bit big, a tiny bit, almost clumsy, a bit like a Scotty Cameron, what is it, fastback with the, fastback isn't it? With the kind of thicker back. Is it? Odyssey double wide, Chris is telling me there. So, and actually, this sits beautifully down at the floor. Does sit good, this, doesn't it? Nice. Not a huge fan again of the colour. I'd much prefer the gunmetal colour, especially in today where the sun's shining. In the sunshine, oh, hit the hole at least. But again, if you told me I had to use this, feel-wise, I can't say there's much on the market that kind of beats it, really. Straight in, gotta be, final one. Guys, that is our, you could call it an in-depth review.
In-depth.
Of the Mizuno M-craft putter range 1 to 3.
Yes. Chrome
blue, there must be a special blue for it.
Smurf blue.
Smurf blue will Chris in it, and the gunmetal grey. Chris, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
No problem.
Really good. Huge thanks to the guys here at Waterfront for hosting us. Fantastic, putting green's unbelievable.
It is in fine fettle.
Really, really good. Guys, make sure you go and check out Chris's channel if you haven't already. It's above average, you could say. Just. Apart from that, guys, make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave us a like if you enjoyed that. Comment below which one would you go for. And apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.